Good day and welcome to Pitchfork Radio. We are doing an encore recording of a lovely conversation that we've been doing our best to have for the last couple of weeks. And thanks to technology, location, weather, and other interesting disturbances, we're finding ourselves recording again in order to get this very important message out to the world. My guest today is Dave Stewart. And Dave has spent 30 years as a construction project manager on large hotels in the UK, Spain, and the Caribbean. He began life as a master carpenter, then received a construction design and management diploma and ocean yacht master in celestial navigation. He built the Barbados Hilton, Cayman Islands Ritz, and other major hotel projects. He woke up on June 2nd, 2010, and realized the sinister secret plot to depopulate the world by a secret group of bloodline families using weather as a weapon. This was his first introduction to HAARP technology. He was in the Caribbean at the time and began looking for like-minded people who knew this stuff so he wouldn't think he was the only guy in the world who did. One of his new friends dropped off 600 secret Nikola Tesla patents to him, which he went through one by one. He knew by this time that nobody in the power positions in the world had any interest in clean, free energy and water, so he set out to find ways to provide that through the use of plasma reactor devices. 2 years ago, he got the spiritual call to go to Peru, where now they are forming the Kesh Foundation Peru, and are building a team of Peruvian youth and elders to start building power reactors, health pens and cannons, and pain bags using Kesh and Tesla technology. So with that being said, and that incredible background, welcome, Dave. Thanks for joining me today, and let's make this one the best recording yet.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, we've had a couple of goes at this, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
Welcome to Peru, and welcome to our offices here. And you'll see a couple of people floating around the back. We've got Daniel West, staff here with us, who's really switched on this technology. We've got a lady from Germany, Joanne, who's picking this stuff up. We've also got Chris, you'll see him floating around, who's made power reactors. So, you know, we've got a good lineup here. I'll do the speaking because we'll make sure that we get the message across through one person. We won't confuse things, if that's okay, Shelley.
That's totally fine. So before we really start with what you guys are working on currently, I've always been interested in the original project that you had when you got the call to Peru, which was working with the water systems there. Could you give us a little bit of brief background on that?
Well, we work as a team, and you know, Mission Impossible we've come from, really. We formed that ourselves, 30, 40 people in that team, and they're all various skills, right through doctors, which is how I got to know you several years ago now, and always love conversing with you. It's a great pleasure to be here, because the message we want to get across is you can have clean water, you can have clean power, and you can have your good, clean health. So all of those combined, the water is the starting point, because if you haven't got clean water, you haven't got much of a chance, have you?
Absolutely.
So chemical-free water, what does that mean, and how can you do it? Well, what I found out, and this was going into the jungle and taking rainwater, that every government office had, do not drink the rainwater. And I went, why not? So I got my parts per million tester, which is a TDS tester, total dissolved solids. Mm-hmm. Tell me how many parts per million was in the rivers, or how many parts per million things, we don't know what they are in the rainwater. And when I got a four-post station with a plastic bag on it and collect the rainwater, after 40 minutes, I did realize that the count went down as low as 000 or 002. And I thought, well, we're in with a chance here. So I'll devise a system of collection that's got filtration that allows for the 40 minutes of the rain to clean itself, because that's what it's doing. So I put that in a tank, and I clean the tank with local limes off the trees, which has got a nice acidity to it, and it gets it all clean. And then I jump in the tank and spray it out with colloidal silver. You've got a sterilized tank, and that's reflected with a filtration system. When the water goes in there, it's a beautiful, beautiful swimming pool-like color, but it's 005, I think it comes out at. with the colloidal silver, and that's pretty good drinking water. I gave it to the shamans here in the ayahuasqueros. Now, these people are the people who know these things, and they can see stuff that you and I can't see, probably because they've been whacked out their heads so much with the ayahuasca. They're visionary. They're amazing people, they really are, and I love working with them. I want to work with more because I want them to see some of the other stuff that we've got with the plasma that we can't see. So basically we have the best water on the planet as far as I'm concerned, and we proved it by moving into the plasma 9 months, 10 months ago. And I got advice from our team that use your rainwater for making the plasma, because that's got the real good quality water, and you won't have any extra additives, dissolved solids in there. So that's what we did, and we're making pretty good gans here now. And we're not as advanced as everybody else around the world, like the Philippines, Taiwan, Thailand. But I can tell you, if it works, we show off a bit, you know. So we've got a lot of things to show you today.
Okay, fantastic. So we've set kind of the foundation for the clean water, which you indicated is really crucial, because when you're beginning to do your plasma reactors, like you said, you have to have the clean water as a foundation. So that's another reason why that was so important for you to do when you first got there, because you had to lay that foundation. So that's fantastic, and look at the benefits to all of the locals from having such an amazing water supply.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you there. I just want to rub one more final point in on the water, is when we go and buy the distilled water that you use for batteries, which is distilled water, it's 0.03 to 0.08 parts per million, and we don't know what those parts are, but my water beats the distilled water that you buy.
That's fantastic. I'm a big fan of distilled, so I'm sure I would love your water. That's fantastic. So you went there because you had an innate understanding that you would get some breakthrough technology that you could begin using, teaching, applying to the goals that you've had for a really long time. And I think that you have experienced kind of a natural progression in your understanding of human design and technology, and how to increase the benefits to humanity via the different approaches that you have used. You and I first became acquainted when you were introducing me to your human design concepts. And I think that you know, was a great precursor to what you're doing now. So essentially, would you mind just telling us a little bit about human design and why that plays a role in what you're currently doing?
It's so important. Human design, now, if I've got some of my items here that I need to set a real pure intention, now, how do you do that? And it's the kind of thing that we've forgotten, and we have to learn it a little bit. Now, human design puts the button on the wall, it just goes, it nails it. And if you want to be in a vibration of love, forgiveness, and gratitude, it's a pretty tough place to be if you're full of frustration.
Right.
It's a pretty tough place to be, and I'll tell you where they really advertise it. When you go into your ayahuasca ceremony, if you've got any bitterness, frustration, or anger, it'll come out, and Mother Earth will give you one hell of a whack over the head. So it's a cleansing of emotional, mental, spiritual, and it reflects on your physicality as well.
Sure.
So, you know, these are the stepping stones to where we're all trying to go in our own different way. Everyone's different. But what I can tell you that I get from human design is you're two people. You're a subconscious person that was living in water in your mother's stomach 88 days before you were born. Your magnetic monopole kicked off, and therefore you are a pure being with pure intention. And when you came out and cut the tube, you took the air for the first time. Well, that is a different person, because that's your bioform, that is your consciousness and your living consciousness. So if you couple those two together, human design gives you the perfect health system, which then moves on to the perfect environment, and that's the people that you meet and the people you want to be with, which then gives you your conscious format, which gives you two levels of awakened awareness, and most beautifully, you have your own unique perception. We are all one, and this is just a nice little way of putting it into a box for you. It helps with the setting your intention. We need that to work with plasma because we don't understand plasma. And the first thing you do when you come here to Peru and start learning this stuff, you have your human design, and we get you to know how to set your intention. Very important, Shelley.
Absolutely, very crucial to have the alignment with the mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, to be the healthy whole beings that we need to be to do the work we've got to do on Earth. So absolutely.
All I need from you is your date of birth, time of birth, and location of birth. And then I'm going to stand up for you because that's on my t-shirt, and I show you which chakras you've got, which are hereditary, and you can trust them. And I tell you the ones where they're not trustworthy, and they give you voices in your head from all the, just imagine the amount of people out there who have no idea about their own emotion, you know, and they're putting that into you, and you're coming out and speaking all kinds of filth that's not you. Therefore, you know, what we do is we take that out of you, and it's great fun when you get it. It's just a lot more fun to live with the knowledge of that, you know.
Sure, and to be responsible for your own emotions and your own progress and your own accomplishments. And it also, once you own all of that, you also have to have an elevated consciousness that moves out of blame. You can't be blaming other people for how you feel or, you know, what your mood is today and that type of thing. So it's a double-edged sword, but it does certainly elevate the consciousness, and that's what we're all striving for.
That's right. The things, you're given things that you're here to avoid. I also tell you whether it's your planet or not, and that can shock people, but it can also relieve people because they go, yeah, I feel horrible here, you know, it's not going to get any better, but at least you now know that it's not your planet. So it's pretty good stuff. I've had some amazing results. I've done over 720 people now, and as I say, you walk through the door here, only people with good intention. I only have awakened and aware people coming through this door, because you're not going to pick up plasma if you haven't got an open mind. So. Well,
there's the perfect opening for what you're doing down there. So let's start discussing your projects. What you're actually doing is working to create that clean environment via your reactor devices and also via your health devices, which both incorporate the GANs. So let's start discussing what GANs is, why it's important to have a healthy intent, and move forward from there.
If you haven't got the right intent, and that's why it's the first thing that happens to you when you come through here, your machine's not going to work. Your power reactor is not going to boot. And so that's the first area of level of intention. Now, imagine that we were telepathic, Shelley, and you could hear everything that I was thinking right now. You'd go, what did you just say then, Dave? You know? So what we want to try and do is make sure that we've got that air clear of the intent is set. Then your machine, these are certain types of machines here, that we've got all kinds of different types. We make these and we put the plasma with them. And we've got dozens of them here. We've got them working. What we do here, and this is the reason why I'd like to appeal to your audience, Shelley, is we only do stuff that works here. And if we've got an experiment to make it work, that's the intent. And then once we've gone past that as a project of not proof of concept, because this is way beyond proof of concept, we've got a team of people who are all having these things working, just like the health sector. And basically, we set our intent that this is going to be a running machine in, I don't know, a week's time. And you come in here as a volunteer. We're now on work away. So you can come here through Workaway as a volunteer. Then you make other people's machines. Or you can come to us and you can pay for the course. You will go away with a working machine that we test here and take it home in kit form, and you will plug it straight into your house. It'll work. You will also walk away with the health cannons, which I'm going to show you in a moment. Quite remarkable results we're having with those. And you'll make the baggies that we call them. Well, they're health pads that you put on trees and stuff. So we'll cover that as well today.
Okay, so those machines that you just showed us, their point is what exactly? So when people come down for your 7-day intensive and they learn to build these through the pure intent of having them work, what is the outcome once they work? What will people see and experience? What are they trying to accomplish with these machines?
Right. Well, you plug this particular type you can plug into the main, or you can plug into a solar panel system that's rigged out in the countryside somewhere. Or if you've got your second home, you can have that as an option as well. We show you how to do that. But when we plug it into the mains, there's a few more components on here. This one's not complete yet. But ours is switched on. It's running this very show, and it's running the internet. It's running everything that you see in here. Machine tools as well. So this is probably going to give out about 2 kilowatts of power. So it's certainly good enough to run this office complex. But I'm going to put 2 machines in here, one upstairs and one downstairs.
Okay.
We've learned from mistakes that the more further away you are from the grid, the more you're nanocoating all the materials in here ready for this machine to take over, because plasma is a reactor, not a generator. It's a big mistake people make, is calling them, oh, those generators. It is not a generator, it's a power reactor. And basically, let me just explain it. We show you how to make, and I can't touch them because this understands my DNA. So therefore, if I touch it, it's going to be only working for me. So we're quite cautious about that. So rubber gloves normally when you touch it, but you see the 3 bobbins, I call them, but other people call them the coils.
Sure, hold it kind of still so the camera has a chance to focus on it.
Let's lock it here.
There we go, perfect.
Now they're copper. They're spun here we've got a carpenter's shop at the back. We spin them and I show you exactly how to do it. We've got blueprint drawings for it. It's all very clear and it's very fast. You can make those in about 2 hours. And then I show you how to connect them up. And then what you can see now probably are 3 little tubes in the middle of them, dead center to them.
Yes.
They are full of GANs, which we're going to go into in detail in a moment. And they are putting out an energy field that these bobbins, I call them, which are copper, but they're nanocoated copper. So there's a couple of words that we need to explain here, what nanocoating is, GANs and plasma.
Yes, please.
And therefore, what I do here, and it's also then dripped in GANs, and that then becomes an energy field.
Okay.
The energy field that when you put electricity through this, it goes, you want electricity, and it finds it for you. But it doesn't go back as electricity. It goes back as plasma electricity. And that runs as many appliances as you want. So I hope I've sort of explained the basics on that.
Yes, definitely. So let's do those definitions now. Let's decide so that everybody understands what GANs is. Could you expand on that a little bit, please?
Okay. There are probably, I could make 100 different types of GANs, but I'm going to show you firstly how it's done. You get sea salt and you mix 15% in a bucket of water, preferably my water or distilled water.
Okay.
And then you mix it up. And then what you're doing to the planet by saying, let's have it up. I can't pick up the nanocoated material. I've got to use gloves. And then you've got nanocoated copper, which is dipped in caustic soda with hot water dumped on top of it. You do it 3 times, and that becomes nanocoated, which is like putting, if you look at this under the microscope, put millions and millions of layers, or certainly 30,000 layers of nanocoating over the copper. It turns this into a superconductor.
Okay.
So now this has the ability of touching me and understanding my body. This is the first part of understanding the health sector behind the plasma, because when we move into that one, you know, it's got its own format, and that's how it repairs you. Now, I've done this in the salt water.
Okay.
Now, this is telling the cosmos, this is telling this planet, I want plasma when I dunk that in.
Okay.
Now, if I do something else, which is add, say, an element called zinc, a plate of zinc, that's telling the planet and the cosmos, I would like to have not only plasma, but I specifically want CO2 GANs, gas at nanostatus.
You just read my mind. We needed to expand the acronym there. Very good.
Okay, gas at nanostatus, and I mean, to be honest with you, there's a big subject there of 30 pages to cover there, but just understand that the moment that you put nano-coated material, connect it with a copper, and there's sometimes you put electricity to it, only 1.5 volts, but you then can put copper in there. So you can put copper in there, that becomes CuO GANs.
Okay.
Now, so any different metal, I've done silver here. Where's my lovely little case with all my different GANs is? Here they are. So let's go through them. CuO GANs, there's the colour of it. It's absolutely beautiful. I'll leave that there so that you can pick up that colour.
And this is the copper one, correct?
Yeah. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Guess what this works on?
Why don't you tell us?
It works on your physicality. Now, isn't it funny we go back to human design, and that works out with your emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual status.
Right.
This one works on your skin, your bones, your tendons, your ligaments.
Okay.
And the water that you see, which is distilled water, above it, I'm shaking it, the water that you can see is what you use for medicine. The GANs, the heavy stuff that falls to the bottom, is what you use in the machines.
Oh, okay.
In the power reactors, let's get that word right.
Right.
Okay. Now, how about this for white?
Beautiful.
CO2 GANs made from zinc, and the water is what takes your pain out of your body. It works on the emotional system. So we're walking around with a lot of pain. We can remove that from the body. Now, a lot of holistic doctors here will put their arm up. Hey, hang on. That's not fair. The pain is here to give you a clue that there's something wrong. And swelling and things like that. We all understand that, but what happens is when I put, the guy came in here with a prostate problem, and I put a baggie on him, and I gave him that water, and I gave him CO2 water, and I gave him CuO water inside that sealed bag. He put it on his stomach. I asked him 3 days later, I said, "You're not a doctor. How do you know you haven't got a prostate problem anymore?" He goes, "I've got no pain. It's been removed." And that's beautiful, because that gives them confidence. And I always discuss with them, you know, what got you there in the first place? Maybe you want to change your diet a little bit.
Right.
And so on and so forth. Now, here's a pretty one. This is a very common one, and that works on your electrical system. It works on your soul, and it really gives you energy. This is the energy one, and it's CH3. And it is made from nails, just your nails in your house.
Wow.
So that's quite simple. So just remember, let's go back to nanocoat copper, and to put that into salt water, and then any material of your choice, link up with a piece of copper, and that's you making GANs. You just leave it there, and the GANs will form. You'll see it forming. The fastest one is the CH3, the red one I just showed you.
Okay.
Okay, and what else I've got here? I've done aluminium.
What would that work on?
I'm working on it.
Yet to be discovered, right?
Yeah, I have to speak to a big team of people to get the correct answer, and normally that has to go right up to Kesh Foundation in Italy. I'm near enough wait until it comes out of Mehran Kesh's mouth, because a lot of people don't know what it's for. And then there's got brass. Brass cans like a browny, greeny colour. And then my favourite of all, silver.
Yeah, that would be my favorite too, I think.
Green, blue, beautiful, beautiful. That decontaminates, takes out diseases,
right?
Stuff like that. So we already knew colloidal silver was a winner and the best antibiotic on the planet. We now got silver GANs, so we knew that was going to be a big one.
Fantastic.
So for the machine, now I've got quite a lot of GANs. If you look here, that's the CO2, and that's the one I use to fill the baggies up. I use the water, and it's very beautiful and white. You clean the salt water out of it. There's a process that you go through with distilled water. So you're using the distilled water on your health, using the GANs on the machines.
Okay.
And then you got the big blue one. That's quite a lot of GANs in there. That probably lasts me 100 years.
Wow.
And then take the water out again and put that in the baggies. And then the big red one is the easiest one to make. And that's settling down nicely now. And I can disturb it. It'll all fall down again. It's like a little galaxy going on in there now. Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. Fabulous stuff. And just being in this office, really rocks you. Now here's the machine one. I mix it all up and make it dry, and it becomes a paste. That's the three of them together.
Oh, okay.
And I can play around with it. I'm still on the learning curve myself, but you can make this torus field that this machine's got, and it's good for your health, by the way. Now, if I put a little bit more blue GANs, CuO GANs, in the center bobbin, which has got plasma in it, can you see that? They got plasma in it.
Uh-huh.
And I can create a really big energy field from the center and a smaller one at the bottom, and then I get the perfect torus coil. And I can show you all that when you come here. And you go through the process. Round here, we've got all the walls full in Spanish and English, how this thing works. And you can sit there, study it while you've got an hour. And you're going to go away pretty much topped up. It's a very intensive course. We've compressed it down to a week. Now, that's 115 workshops from Kesh, 4 hours a piece. So if you don't want to go through that pain barrier, get over to Peru and, you know, come here every day for at least 8 hours and make your own machine, get it working, understand why, make some GANs, do the nano coating, all these things that you haven't known. It's the people that don't know what they want to know is who we want walking through the door.
Sure, exactly.
So,
and people that are in alignment with the purpose, the overall purpose, that's very important.
also, when you go home and spend an extra week here, we're in Tarapoto. This is a pretty special place. It's the ayahuasca center where Graham Hancock, David Icke, and all those other awakened people come to get their frying pan over the head from Mother Earth. Anyway, Graham Hancock certainly got thumped last time he was here. He told us so in his TED talk. I was quite shocked that he was told to stop smoking marijuana. He was aggressive with it. So there you go. You get a real awakening when you do that. We've got some beautiful shamans here we can recommend to you. They're not commercial, so you don't have to go through that pain barrier of finding the right shaman and spend. Sometimes they tell you that you need 10 days here, so allow that with your budget of being here for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We ask for $500. You walk away with the machine. We buy all the materials. You've got no shopping to do. We've got all the tools here for you. We've got.
And you verify that they work before you send people home with them, and that's the part that's really important.
Well, you've got one working in here for a start. You can study that. But we've had people from Chile, Lima. We've had people from China. We've had Wan Chang here from China. What a beautiful guy he was. His is now confirmed working back in China. We've had Eduardo here, an Italian from the States, absolutely super guy. And he had 4 machines he was building before he came here. He bit the bullet and he came here and he walked through the door. And I said, drop everything you know, let's start again.
Yeah.
Speak with our team. You speak with our team on Skype or Zoom room like we're doing now. And they give them the correct answers. You put your problem across, they give you a correct answer. And that's how we work. So, you know, even if I don't know, it doesn't matter. We find it. We want to know what your problem is, why it doesn't work for you. We've heard that Eduardo now has not only got his machine working that he plugged in the wall here, but he's just built another one. And that's the beauty. Shelley, when you come here, you walk away, you can start making your own machines. That's how much you know when you leave here.
Well, that's fantastic. And, you know, you are quite the doer. And that is really why I wanted to do a show with you, because my whole purpose in spending time learning this stuff and speaking with people at this point in our evolutionary process, if you want to call it that, we have got to get out of the theoretical and out of the just the mental aspect of knowing what's going on, and we've got to start applying it, and we've got to start doing the work that so many people are sitting around waiting for somebody else to bring to the table. We're looking for saviors, and little do we know that we came here to be a savior. And we came here to fix things. We wouldn't be here in this time if we weren't here in this awakening process, learning what's broken and what to do about it. So I just want to give you like a gigantic high five and say thank you so much for taking what you know and learning to bring it to the application process. And now that you have learned that, you are sharing it with others. And this is the exponential thing that has to happen for us to be able to fix the problems that we're all faced with, regardless of whether you're, you know, where I live, where you're living, or anywhere else. We're all facing exactly the same problems at the hands of the exact same psychopathic parasites. So we have got to take our power back and stop sitting around waiting for permission, waiting for authority, all that silly stuff that was introduced by the power elite that keep us in these, you know, enslaved positions. So long way of saying thank you so much. And I'm really grateful for people like you and for the time you're taking to share this. So can we go a little bit into the health aspect now?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the things that it just wakes me up in the morning. I'm up at 5 o'clock every morning, and you know, what is it that wakes me up? And yes, the movers and shakers you're looking for, this is certainly it, because we literally don't know something, we find out. Now, people sit there and go, no, that doesn't work, and that's it. They're finished. So if you concentrate on the problem, you're only going to get the problem. What
Right.
we found is we've moved into looking for the solution as a team, collective, and we find the solution, we build the solution, and we go, hey, look, it worked. We concentrate on the solution, you get the solution. That's intent. So,
It absolutely is.
You know, so I can go, hey, what's that, Shelley?
That's your health cannon, your health pen.
It is. And how does it work? And does it work? Can I prove it on this show right now? Well, I think so. And it's got one of these inside it. You can see this a bit more clearer. It's got a twirly, curly. We're going back on spirals again. Everything we do is a spiral, because everything you're sitting on is a spiral as well. It's certainly moving that way. And it's got 3 rolls of copper that we put with a mandrel on a drill. It's very easily done. And then we put a smaller one in there. You've got a gravitational field. You've got inside that a magnetic field. This is all maggrav stuff. And then you've got a pin, a center pin that comes out as a laser. It's an intentional laser. It reads me. And if I've got a real good intention that I want your health to be good. Just the other day, a guy came in here and he goes, I've had a rotten wrist for 2 years after an accident on a bike. So I gave him 20 minutes with the health cannon. What you can't see, what's happening here are two things, two very, very important things. It's got a toroidal field here, and then it's got an emission because water going down the plug hole, you can't see the air coming out that's creating the top bit on the water.
Right.
So you've got two things going on there, and you've got two things going on here. The bit that's going right through your body as plasma, and it's emitting what it does. It recognizes your DNA and say, hey, this shouldn't be here. I'm going to take it out of your body, and it comes out.
Oh.
Quite remarkable. So can I prove that to you? Well, I can. I'm going to show you a couple of pictures now. I'm going to hold them up, make sure that they've gone nice and clear for you.
Okay.
This is I'm going to show you where the cannon is. And this is a bowl of normal water. Let's hold it that way. And you can clearly see where we hung the cannon.
Okay.
And then we put dye in the water and we froze it. And there you see the ring of energy sucking towards, and that's like a 6 or 8 inch ring of energy, and the water was about 5 inches deep, and that went right down to the bottom of the bowl. And therefore, you now can see clearly that this has got an emission of energy.
Okay, sure.
So therefore, just to rub it in a bit stronger, if I show you this picture and let it go on the screen, there's your toroidal field, there's your foot, so you put something on your shin in this particular case, and there's a toroidal field, and there's the emission. That bit that you can't see is the injury coming out of you, whether you use CUO for skin, bone, ligament, tendons, or you use CO2 for pain. You will be without pain immediately. You know, it can be as quick as 20 minutes.
Wow.
You know, anyway, let's show some more glossy pictures. There you go, and let me just emphasize where the torus field is. It's there and right around there.
Yep. Okay. Is that another frozen specimen right there?
It is indeed. And then the favorite one, I call it the heart in the glass, but it's got something else. It actually shows you the emission of disease or injury or pain or whatever. Sorry about the red blotch, by the way. That was my dye that I used in the water.
Okay.
Have a look at that one.
Beautiful.
And there's the pen right there. Let's have a look. There's the pen right there. You can see it.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. There's the pen. So look at the power of that energy. And it's funny enough, it came out heart-shaped. This is a guy, Steve Sager, who sent this to me and said, how about that? And I went, well, I want to make one of those. So
what are those light streaks coming from the bottom of that heart?
That'll be anything that's wanting to come out of you once it's entered your body. So that's what we worked out here, because we want to know, where did that pain go? I have little bottles of GANs here. I had a guy who had an ear infection for 2 weeks, and you get a little bottle like that. And
that's the paste, right?
That's the paste in this one, but you can actually take that paste out and put the water in. And in ear infections, you use a skin repair because you've got a pain going on in there, and you use CO2. So more predominant CO2 because it's got more pain. You stick that in your ear like that. And this are his words. He was from Latvia. He said it was like a tremendous pain started overriding me, and he thought, oh, wow, should I take this off? Or shall I continue with it? And he chose to continue with it for an hour. And he said it was like someone reaching inside him and ripping that pain out of him, and it was gone within the hour.
Beautiful.
Now, we've done the same with people with swollen ankles from twisting them. We've done the same with a girl who came in here, and she had a great big swelling here on her hand from a bite from a monkey, and she had a swelling on the back of her hand here. I gave her that to hold, and then we got these things that we make, and we put the GANs water in the baggies, and what you do is you simply apply that to your hand and put some tape on it, and then go to bed. She was done all the swelling had gone in 2 days.
Well, for those of us who don't live in the jungle, why is a monkey bite such a problem?
Well, I mean, she also had a big hole in her hand from the teeth, because the teeth are rather big on the monkeys, and they're very, very fast, and they actually attack girls. They're a bit sexist. So this poor girl had a big swollen hand when she came here. She had a big hole here where the tooth had gone right through, and I sprayed that with colloidal silver. And again, colloidal silver, as you know, it's a wonder tool. Anyway, she was good. After 3 days, she was like, I'm fine.
Wow,
So,
fantastic.
yeah, so we've gotten some really good results with the health. That's why I'm very excited when I talk about it. I've got working on arthritis people now, and don't forget, it's not us as curing. We're giving the cure to the other people to use. Your body cures. Who fixes the bone when it breaks? The person who's got the broken bone fixes it, doesn't it?
Exactly, you bet. You're having some really good luck with broken bones, aren't you?
Not me. The hospital in the Philippines is a pure plasma hospital.
Okay.
I nearly said Hosma, a plasma hospital. And they're doing research and recording everything. This is breakthrough. This is fantastic. Now, a lady had a broken bone, clearly seen on the x-ray, and they put the cash bags, the pain pads, and the whatever. You can put 3 together and use all the GANs. If you need some energy, you can just add some energy in there as well. So what we do is they wrap this around, and they tested her after 6 days of the pain pads, and she would re-x-ray. There was no broken bone there. Admittedly, I think it was a fracture, which is a very fine break, but it was gone 6 days. So we don't know whether it was 5 days it was gone, or 3 or 4, but we know after 6 days.
6 days. Fantastic. So you have a hospital there that has interested doctors as well, correct?
We've had the surgeons from the main hospital here who deal with all the road traffic accidents or anything, you know, accident-wise, and he came around here. I had half an hour of his time, and he said, very, very interesting, about 5 or 6 times. So, you know, you've got a surgeon who knows about plasma, didn't realize that it was in Tarapoto. So we want to take that a little bit further. Of course, he's a busy lad, and he hasn't come back yet to us. But he said, you've got a problem. Once I had explained everything, how it works, he said, you've got a problem. The hospital has an administration system that overrides my decisions. Yeah. And I went, well, he even knows the system now. So he knows plasma exists. He knows the system's wrong. And they just, you know, it's a hospital where you've got 24 pharmacies right outside the front door of the emergency. And I thought, oh, that's a terrible system, that isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, let's we're going to try and move into that area and start bringing people around and recording it. This is what the Philippines are doing.
Good.
Getting great results as well. So, yeah.
So let's say, for instance, people in whatever their circumstances don't have the opportunity to come down there. What other options are there for them to expose themselves to this information and your research and your teaching?
If you go through the Workaway site, you literally are volunteering, and you'll make somebody else a machine.
Okay.
I can do, and I've got dozens of them here, all surrounded around me. And then we can sell that, because we're going to be the Cash Foundation manufacturer. Now, if you want to pay the $500 and you want to walk away with it, knowing how to make a machine, and not only that, having one working, plus all the paint stuff and all the other ganses, somebody knocking on the door. You can literally come here, and that 7 days intensive course, you will just have everything working, and you can even test your own stuff. So the other way to come here is to turn up and knock on the door and say, I wouldn't mind doing the course and making a machine. It's about $200 for you turning up on the doorstep here. And you still get a machine to walk away with that one.
Okay. And you're doing an online course too, aren't you?
We're training people to form the Kesh Foundation Egypt. We've got some engineers there, and they specialize in natural health centers. And they've also got one that's been running now. I know they've been here to see me. I think they've had that one running 3 or 4 years. They have a tool called, we bought it here, we managed to get a donation for it, called the Light Mandela, where he works on sacred geometric, coherent white light that's penetrating your body as well, which is a form of plasma. He's extremely interested in our work, so he now wants to be taught and have a machine working in his workshops in Egypt. So that's going to be, you're probably going to be able to get access to that course and do your own at home for about $200 $250. That's not a big deal. You'll have 8 sessions of 2 hours each, going through every section, and nothing, no stone unturned. Everything will be visible, and you from those sessions will be able to make your own at home.
Okay.
So that's another thing, initiative that we've started here. Don't forget, this is for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years of Kesh's work condensed into 8 2-hour sessions.
Right, which will be very intensive, and even though that would be fantastic, and that may be how I end up having the opportunity to do this, I would honestly love, and I am sending my intention to come to Peru. So not simply because I want to see you in person, which would be nice, but because, you know, I just really feel that this technology is so amazing, and being in the health field that I'm in, I would love to be able to help people beyond where I'm able to help them now.
Well, that's right. And being here and understanding how important that is, and then seeing it changing to that, when you see my hands on touching it, it's because it understands my DNA, and therefore it reads my amino acid, and therefore I'm not to touch it really, because it'll sort of put a poison on the machine, but it'll only work for me.
Right.
But getting from there to there, and why you do that, and turning that into a superconductor, because that's what it is. And then I've got something really cool to show you, Shelley. Really cool. I can touch these. And this is the new mode for the car. This is going to ride these motor taxis around here.
Okay.
That's all you need for a car. And we've got to set them in, connect them to the battery. We don't fuse it. We only put one positive. There's a positive and a negative, which is actually, in plasma terms, it's called magnetic, and then you've got gravity. They go against each other, and when you look at the protons, this is how the system works. It creates energy, you know, it's just rubbing past each other. Nothing's touching, everything's rubbing past. And one goes on the positive of this one goes on the negative of the battery, and the negative of this one goes on the positive of the battery, if I've got that right. You add one more tiny thing, this little thing, to the spark plug.
Okay, hold it still so we can focus on it.
Let me just stick that there. And it's a coil again, but it's coiled onto the, you can see that that is a spark plug. Right. And then we're going to unscrew that, take that off and nano coat it again so it'll go black. And then when it's nano coated, that will be a supercharged little item for the spark plug. So you're going to be getting, you're running your car from plasma. We get a little bit of GANs, probably something like that with glass and epoxy on the top. And we drop that in the tank. Within 3 months, you will not be paying for gasoline again.
Holy smoke.
You nearly said something else then, didn't you?
I almost did, yeah.
So that's, we've got 6 mechanics over the road. Some are electro mechanics. They are like that, looking at this. And they've all got motor taxis. They pay 60 souls, $20 a week here for gasoline. So they're very interested.
Oh, I can imagine.
I think the price for this machine is going to be, it's going to be less than $50.
Oh my gosh.
You
Now, that would work for people's cars if they didn't happen to have the little motor taxis, correct?
Well, it'll work for the motor taxis, it'll work for the bikes, they have to have a battery, and it'll work for cars. So this is as good a bigger four-wheel drive. This little, I've condensed that right down to really tiny. It's like 18 gauge, and I've made it very small. And I've put these nice little joints. I wonder if I can show you the jointers that we do. I make a mountain of these little jointers.
Hold it really still for a second.
Yeah, let me try that.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, and you're left with two wires hanging out. One is an antenna, whether it's positive or negative, and then the other one connects to the opposite pole of the battery. And believe me, I didn't know this 2 weeks ago. So our team has told us how to do this. This is how we work. So, you know, basically, I'm taking instruction. We've got all kinds of other new stuff in from our technical support. What have we got? He'll send something like a nice clever drawing like this, and I make it. So you make it as well when you come here.
Okay.
And then we join all that together, and they are called the capacitors of the power reactor. And maybe I can show you right now. There's one I made there, and I'm going to join it to a piece of wood and stick it on there, and that connects up with the motor, and we plug that in the wall. It's as simple as that. We've got it down. We've condensed all this work that has been going on. It's not a question of proof of concept now. It's way beyond that.
Sure.
It's way beyond Tesla. All those drawings that I was reading years ago, this is moving into plasma technology. And I'm giving you the opportunity to come here and learn it. And we have a lot of fun as well, because once you set your intention, it's just fun. So. Oh,
I can imagine. I think it would be the time of my life for certain.
Yeah.
Your website is what, Dave?
www.xi4, which is the number. So it's xi4.com.
Perfect.
You get your chance to come over, and you can fill up one of the forms. If you go back over the last couple of posts, you will see that you can fill a form in and come over here. I strongly suggest you come over here, because the hands-on sector of this, when you start seeing it on the walls and when you start seeing how to actually make it, you literally pick it up 10 times faster. Oh,
I'm sure, absolutely. I'm always a much better candidate for a hands-on thing where I can remember the kinesiological aspect of the process. So that's really important.
Well, also, you can, sorry, Shelley.
Go ahead.
You can also speak to the people, or even try them yourself if you come here with any pain. But you can speak to people here that have tried these and tried the Canon. You can make your own Canon and go home with your own Canon. It's good for the family. It works for the whole family. Anyone who has any kind of illness, that this can be reused to regenerate them. And you know, let me see if I can show you that one. It's nano-coated now. That. So spiral, point, laser, intention, set, and goes in there, and then that's got the toroidal field here.
Right.
All going on, very busy, and we can now prove that we've got it nicely frozen. And you go away with a picture of your own Canon.
Yep. So because honestly, this is really the best bang for your buck relative to what you learn, develop, get the concepts of, and bring back with you. So this is definitely the best bang for somebody's buck. You also have a Kesh Foundation that you're starting for the children there. And can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, what I'm wanting is a girl, Rebecca Duenas, to come from Colombia, and maybe Juliana as well, to come from Colombia and run Kesh kids. We've actually called it Wawa Kesh. That's Quechuan. Don't forget we're in the Quechuan sector of Tarapoto, or this part of Peru. And they're beautiful people, by the way, the Quechuan people. I've been learning Quechuan language. It's absolutely fascinating. Did you know, Shelley, it's the closest language to Pleiadian than any other language on this planet? What does that tell you?
Wow.
So it's absolutely sounds nothing like Spanish. It sounds nothing like, more closer to Japanese, if anything.
Okay.
Than any other, but closer to the actual Pleiadian language. And I know some Pleiadians, you know. So anyway.
So what is your hope for the children there? What's your goal there?
Well, they're going to learn sacred geometry, and they're going to make sacred geometry, and they're going to learn about plasma, GANs, and healing, so that they can go and heal their parents who are sick.
Fantastic. And as they grow and learn, they can teach their children. So you'll have a multi-generational situation going on there.
Yeah, well, on my website, xi4.com, I've got a donate button, and I really need all the tables and chairs. I've got a very big room here, and I want Rebecca running that, and we've got to put boards up on the wall so we can do all the sketches and stuff. We've literally got a bare room in there. I want somebody who can grab this by the heart and say, hey, I'm going to help with that Kesh, Wawa Kesh, or Kesh Kids, and we can bring Rebecca over here. And I mean, she's a great teacher. She's not only a teacher, she's a beekeeper, she's a recycling expert, she's an artist, and she's now a copper artist. She makes GANs, plasma, and she can make one of these machines. So,
fantastic.
You can get that over to the kids, no problem at all. I'm rubbish with the kids. I'm like, get off my stuff.
See, I think that would be something I would love, because I've got a whole passel of my own kids, but I've always loved to teach. And I do a lot of teaching in my healing practice as well, because I feel like people have to become responsible for what they're applying in their own lives. And so the teaching aspect is huge, and I've always loved working with kids. So that would be a lot of fun.
Well, maybe that will inspire you to get your passport and come down here and work with Rebecca, because she's a lively soul, and she knows her stuff as well. So and she had 4 human designs. She asked me every time. She was in tears every time she had one, but she left here a superb woman.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, she learned that crying for things, and you know, people burst into tears. Oh, I've got a toothache and I need some money to go. And she realised that that's not the way that we work. That we set our intention, and it comes knocking on the door.
There you go.
She left using the human design aspect of what we do here, and it's great to see people like that change for the better, because they did it themselves. That's what's cool about it.
Oh yes, definitely. So there are many possibilities for people to become involved in this, and they can identify what works best for them by going to your website and making a decision to either donate or take the online course or come down there or order products. Is that correct?
That's right, yeah. I have been secretly sending packages to ill people out of country. I haven't got a 100% record of guaranteeing it getting there. It costs me money. But I'm hoping to send one to New Zealand, and I'm hoping to send one to the UK and check that it does get there. But I've sent one to Egypt already. I haven't got a result on that yet. So a bit of nervousness in the system. Let's put an intention out there and get those packages to those sick people. We've got a guy who can't move his arm, and we're going to put a patch on his head to stimulate that part of the brain.
Okay.
And we're going to put a pen, and he can put the pen through here, through the pineal gland, and get all the action going on. Let's hope he'll start moving that hand again. I'm confident that will happen.
And that gives people another ability to have input into this process, is if they want to be somebody's health angel, they could donate to the process of helping you get these out to people that really need them.
Absolutely, yeah. I run on donations, and I haven't had any for a month or two now. So you know, anyone who can, who sees this from the soul as absolute genuine, which it is, as I say, if we can prove it here, we prove it in our hands and we show you.
Right.
We don't go in the area where we can't prove it yet. But that's why we're moving now into the car one. The car one is vitally important to us. And then any other area, there are far many people out there who are far more way advanced than us, but we're just sticking the basic stuff. And here's Daniel.
Hi, Shelley.
Hey, Daniel.
The people, maybe what they can learn when they come here, you know, essentially that we're giving a genuine product and they can learn how to make it for themselves and therefore for their family, whoever else they wish to give with it, or even make a small income from it on their own. So if they grab that camera there.
So when we do the camera, can you do a running commentary because you know what he's doing? Because we have a sound problem when we move the camera. Can you do that, Shelley?
Can I do what again?
Give a running demonstration of what Daniel is doing because you won't be able to hear my voice when I move the camera.
Oh, that's fine. Let's do it.
Okay. Don't get dizzy now.
Okay.
I'm trapped. So I've got all the cables all jammed up here. Wrap round there as well. Right, okay, off we go. Off we go. Okay.
Okay, Shelley.
Okay, I'm trying to recall what's happening. What have we got there?
We have the 220 hair dryer.
220 hair dryer, and he's going to plug that into a socket that we got with our machine. And he's going to run the 220 with all the other 220 stuff. Okay.
Now we're going to take.
Now we're going to take 110 volts in the same bank of switches. Now this is impossible in normal electricity. This is only possible with plasma electricity.
And as you can see, they're both in the same bank of plasma. And this is the 110.
So he said that's a 110 from North America in the same bank of switches running with the 220. Okay, we're back again now.
Okay, so the audio wasn't great, but so tell us what we saw there with the 220 and the 110.
Firstly, you saw our machine running this office and plugged into the mains, but what happens is the electricity goes around those bobbins and then shoots back into the wall. You put about 5 more times the amount of power than you've got because of the spiraling and the nanocoating and the superconductors sending in the wall. But what it does is it activates and says, you want electricity. I understand that. I'm going to go and find it in a plasma ball, a giant toroidal field, because the plasma is inside the center of those machines in those little bottles there. People use balls, doesn't matter, it's all going to go out there. And then when it demands electricity, on that bank of switches you saw there, there's 6, I think, or 8 on there. We've got about 4 of them used on 220. What Daniel did was he plugged 110 in there, as well as 220, and it works. You can't do that in normal circumstances.
Right, exactly. It's either 110 or 220. You don't get to combine them.
Sparks flying out of it, you know.
So it's showing that the unit, Jelly, is, I got to duck down here. It's showing that the unit is actually not producing electricity, it's using plasma. Electricity would have blown the 110 right. We're showing that what Dave has done is to build a unit that actually is producing energy which emulates electron vibration, but which is not electron vibration or what we refer to as electricity. It's a plasma flow which has been set up through the coil system that David has showed you. So, and this is what you'll learn if you come down here and how to spread the good news to everybody you know.
And for those people who are saying, hey, I couldn't do that, that machine was built by a 21-year-old engineer, young girl in the Peruvian university. So I think you can.
And I think that's the message that we really need to put across there, re-emphasize, is that you don't have to have a background in engineering or electrical, mechanical, this, that, or the other thing, because I certainly don't. And I would have every expectation of being able to learn and understand the concepts and create a working device. So I don't want anybody to feel put off because they don't have that kind of specific background.
It's funny, actually, we've got a couple of funny statements to say about that. Is that because we're working with Peruvian engineers, we're converting all this over to Spanish as well from English. And, you know, when we speak to the engineers, we say to them, hey, drop whatever you know about electricity now, right, and stick it in the dustbin. But when we come to connect the machine up, I go, okay, over to you, you connect it up. And they do need their electrical skill then to plug it in. So we need a bit of both.
Okay.
Combine it. And but if you've got no electrical experience whatsoever, don't even worry about that, because we've got the machines working here. We've got them in Tarapoto, in shops in Tarapoto.
Sure.
All working. So we're quite confident that your machine's going to work as well, because we've got 4 others working outside here who have been here. So, yeah.
Okay, so let's remind people to go to your website. Stand up again so they can see your t-shirt.
Okay, it's Mission Impossible at the moment, but it's xhi4.com.
And please go there and support this in whatever way you can. If you can support it to your own benefit, so much the better. But if you feel like you can be an angel donor, that would be awesome too. We want to get this information out as far and wide as we possibly can. Of course, it is based upon the premise that we know that we're no longer going to be operating from within the paradigm that we're currently living in. And you guys are doing this great work to essentially establish a new paradigm, to create a new system that rises up alongside the one that is collapsing now, so that we have other options. And so it's very, very important that people get on board here and start expanding the range and the reach of what you're doing, and become masters at it themselves, because, you know, everybody that comes there needs to essentially leave there and become a teacher as well.
Absolutely right, Shelley. I mean, Buckminster Fuller said it all in the 50s, didn't he? You know, don't fight the current system, invent the new one, and let the old one just go away. And that's exactly what you do in your arguments. If you have an argument with a person, don't argue with them. Just move on to the positive side of that person. All the other stuff goes away. It's easy.
So true. And this is going to be important for people to recognize in their own just day-to-day experiences. Is that which you focus on expands, and that which you starve of energy collapses of its own weight. So working with that on an energetic level, on an emotional level, on a mental level, put your energy into that which you wish to expand, which you want to see grow and become the new system that we're all, you know, literally dying for at this point. We want our freedom. We want health. We want clean air, food, and water. These are things that we are entitled to, and they are also the things that are being manipulated by the powers that want to remain in control. So I honestly cannot think of a better way to start expanding the freedom paradigm than to support what you're doing there. And I urge my audience in any capacity that they can to please contribute to this energetically, monetarily, with your physical presence. However you can contribute, please do so. And it's so important that you put your energy where your mouth is, where you're complaining and bitching and moaning and worrying about all the horrible things that are happening. Why don't you pull your energy away from that and put it towards that which will begin to resolve the problems that you're worried about?
Thank you, Shelley. And,
right.
and the people here, that makes the place. You're going to be introduced to some fabulous people here. It's a magnet. It's a magnet for me. It works for me. So we have on our shows sometimes, and they're very beautiful.
Well, I think we've done an outstanding job of showing people what you're about, what your intentions are. I hope it helps them shift their intentions and their focus towards the creation of this new world that we all wish to see. And having said that, I'm going to bid you farewell for the day, and we'll get this video up to YouTube as soon as we physically possibly can and start spreading the word. So thank you so much, Dave. Thanks, Daniel.
Take care, Shelley. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'll stay in touch for sure, okay?
Okay, and thank you very much from the Cash Foundation Peru, from Mission Impossible. We're just merging into one. So, you know, thank you very much, Shelley.
Have a great day, guys.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.